Alberti. Ms. Alfieri. Mr. Antonopoulos. Here. Mr. Donovan. Here. Mr. Grillo. Here. Ms. Jarvis.
Here.
Ms. Mallon. Here. Mr. Musto.
Here. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the following means. Annual notice was sent to the Herald News, the Record, the South Bergenite, the Observer, Township Clerk, and posted in the lobby of the Town Hall and Board Office, setting forthcoming scheduled work meetings and public meetings of the Board. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Roll call.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alfieri.
Four.
Mr. Antonopoulos. 4. Mr. Donovan. 4. Ms. Jarvis.
Four.
Ms. Malinak.
Four.
Mr. Musto. Mr. Grillo.
This time, because last time we did it, and I know that they all couldn't hear, and everyone should hear all of the wonderful things that we have to celebrate. I hope many of you were able to come and see our high school musical performance of the Shop of Horrors. It was fantastic. If you were able to see that, you saw a real culmination of the incredible performances that our students are giving as a result of their learning in the various arts, from the dancing to the singing to the instrumental to the choreography to the memorization of the lines and the characters and the accents. I'm just always floored when you see so many disciplines come together in one performance that truly can entertain a complete audience. So kudos to them for a great job, and to everyone who was involved. So we're going to segue into some celebration of students' achievements in the arts. And we're going to start out with some students who have been accepted to the Bergen County Band. Once again, Lyndhurst is very well represented here. We're going to start with Dennis Alarcon. Andrew Mayeski. Betsaida Oliveira. We'll get those to them along with your congratulations. And from instrumental, we move to the vocal. So right now, we want to recognize Alyssa Ventimiglia for being selected. A really great achievement. This is the North Jersey Region 1 Honors Choir for this school year. Congratulations. And our final award this evening goes to a very special educator, and I'm going to ask him to please come up here while I tell you about the reason for the award. Mr. Cronky, come on up here, please. We're going to put him on the spot. Usually he likes to take a back seat, but we're going to have him go front and center right now, because this guy's really contributes so much to our school and does so in a very quiet, very humble way. And I thought it was really important to give him some recognition and tell you a little bit about the behind-the-scenes work that goes on here. So with our students with special needs, we always want to make sure that they are in safe environments at all times. And because we also want to give them as many opportunities to be part of the general mainstream experience as well. It means that they interact with lots of different educators, paraprofessionals, aides, etc. And we want to make sure that any person who is involved in their education can support them in the ways that they need to be supported. So last year we started an internal training program called Handle with Care Training. And this is a way to help students be restrained, should they need it, in a very caring, compassionate, gentle way, and also in ways that are consistent so they know what to expect if in fact they need some assistance at that time. We had a professional trainer come in, and Mr. Conkey was part of the trainee program, and he just demonstrated such incredible skills in this area that he was actually suggested and recommended to us by the professional to be an internal trainer for us, because they really felt not only does he clearly have the strength, but certainly has the compassion, the understanding, and the approach that many students that require this training need. So without asking for anything extra, looking for anything extra, Mr. Conkey willingly volunteered extra time, took this on, underwent everything he needed to be in order to become a trainer, and now he trains our internal staff along with some other support people that are part of that process. But really, we have to commend him for this, because without his ability to do that, it would cost us a tremendous amount of money to have a professional keep coming in. And it would also cause us to not have a quick go-to resource that we have with Mr. Kroenke. So that wasn't enough for him. He's this, again, quiet but an overachiever nonetheless. And he was very inspired by the work of Special Olympics. And Mr. Kroenke has an incredible way with our students with special needs, especially the little ones, which is a real shocker, I think, to most people. But the smaller they are, the more he seems to inspire them. And certainly we took him up on that interest. And we are now receiving a $25,000 grant to unify our student athletes, all our student athletes, whether they are the athletes that are being noted in the newspapers or they are our very special student athletes who can participate in Special Olympics. So Mr. Kroenke is really a fundamental part of this Play Unified approach that we have in our district now, and our unification with Special Olympics. So please join me in congratulating and thanking Mr. Kroenke. I'm going to make sure that everyone else gets these awards, and we can now resume the usual business.
Obviously, Mr. Buono's not here tonight. He's still in Florida, relaxing. New business.
Yes. Any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of new business may so indicate now, and a separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, I make a motion that number 1 and number 2 be adopted.
Roll call.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alciuri.
4.
Mr. Andronakis. 4. Mr. Donovan. 4. Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Ms. Malinak. Mr. Musto. Mr. Grillo.
Chris, could you take finance?
Yes. Any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of finance, facilities, and district planning committee may so indicate now, and a separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, let's make a motion to adopt 1 through 12.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alcieri.
Four.
Mr. Andronakis. Four. Mr. Donovan. Four. Ms. Jarvis. Ms. Mallon. Mr. Musto. Mr. Grillo.
Susan,
Okay.
education for
I also wanted to compliment the Fine and Performing Arts Department for the wonderful production and the school play. It was just magnificent. We couldn't brag about it anymore. The students that we have in this little town, they just exude with performance ability and showmanship. They are truly, truly professionals. And I'm so proud to be a member of the Board of Education representing these students, as well as all the students in our district. So with that, any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of Education and Curriculum Committee may so indicate now, and a separate motion for each of the following accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, I make a motion that resolutions 1 to 6 be accepted.
roll call.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alcieri.
4.
Mr. Andronakis. Four. Mr. Donovan. Four. Ms. Jarvis. Ms. Mallon.
4.
Mr. Musto. Mr. Grillo.
Four. Policies and rules and regulations. Jim, can you take that?
Any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of Rules and Regulations Committee may so indicate now, and a separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, I make a motion that the Policies and Rules and Regulations Committee action of the board numbers 1 through 7 be adopted.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alcieri.
4.
Mr. Andronakis. Four. Mr. Donovan. 4. Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Ms. Mallon. Mr. Musto.
I just wanted to make one comment. In the previous meeting, I asked the superintendent for information related to HIV, and this agenda, I had that information. And there were some things that happened. We had 52 incidents of HIV. 46 of those were unfounded. Those observations, looking at those 46 that were unfounded, there were quite a few that could just be best described as nonsense. And I don't use that term lightly, but when you look at some of the explanations, they were. And then there were several that were concerning behavior. I guess the point is, it takes the same amount of time to investigate whether it's nothing or whether it's a significant incident. And then I want to just commend the staff and the administration for going through that process each and every time for each and one of those incidents, even if it's, one kid touching another and the parent, bringing that to your attention. So there's one other thing that I want to say with that is, as a parent and as parents, I think we need to more prioritize what is going forward to the staff to investigate. I fear that some of these kids are growing up in a world where, every little whim is going to be investigated, which is not the way the world works. It does right now in school. I think we need to, as parents, basically toughen up our kids a little bit and prioritize what goes forward to you all. And with that, I'm for the motion, but I just want to make that statement. I did ask for the information. We got plenty of it, and it was
You're saying that, and I just have other sentiments because the amount of work that the counselors I'm sorry, the amount of work that the counselors and the principals have when something is identified and shared is extraordinary, but we do hope that even when it is perhaps nonsensical, that the students are learning better coping skills with regard to conflict resolution, and we are seeing that progress. So I thank Mr. Musto for his sentiments, and I echo that as well to our counselors and principals.
Mr. Musto. Four. Mr. Grillo.
Chris, could you do the personnel?
So any, any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions in the category of personnel may so indicate now, and a separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion that numbers 1 through 26 be adopted.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Albert? Ms. Alfieri?
Four.
Mr. Antonopoulos?
Four.
Mr. Donovan?
Fourth.
Ms. Jarvis?
Four.
Ms. Mallon?
Four.
Mr. Musto? Mr. Grillo?
Any unfinished business?
Okay, so I just wanted, make a few brief statements with regard to the education and curriculum section of the agenda. Because every month we look at this and we see a couple of resolutions and they're so concise and they're so simple. But I really have to take a moment to let you know just how much work goes into so many of those resolutions coming to fruition. We're very, very proud of the work that we're doing to make sure that we're helping all students to reach their fullest potential regardless of their needs. And sometimes when we talk about special education students, we often forget the students that are on the far other end of that spectrum, and those are our high achievers. And sometimes it is our high achieving students that suffer from anxiety and stress and pressure that oftentimes we find they put upon themselves. But we also want to make sure that all of those students are recognizing that the bar keeps going higher, and we always want to keep them striving for more and striving for better. And perhaps as an educator, that can be one of the greatest challenges of all, because speaking from the perspective of having been an AP literature teacher, you could read papers and you knew that in a college classroom, those papers would be an A. But you also knew that you wanted to make sure that you were helping the student grow in some ways. So to find something to essentially give them feedback on that was negative could be the hardest challenge of all, but yet we must, because we want to make sure that they never settle and that they're always reaching their best potential. So you'll see in tonight's agenda the decision to expand our advanced placement programs at the high school. That comes only as a result of students demonstrating interest, having quantitative evidence from PSAT performance, from various types of data to show that students do excel in these areas and should be pushed and should be given the opportunity to earn some college credit while they're in high school. As well as the teachers who are stepping forward and saying, hey, I know that's a lot harder, and now I'm a high school teacher, basically teaching at the college level, but I'll take it on. I'll go for the training. I'll do what I need to in the summer. I'll create my own syllabus. I'll submit it to College Board and make sure that it's approved for audit. There is so much work that goes behind this, the ability for us to offer these courses. And I just have to take a moment to share that with you, because not only does it provide so much more opportunity for our students to leave our high school with college credits in hand, and moms and dads, that can save you a lot of money down the road, and also open up the students' ability to take higher level classes and be able to go on and pursue greater levels and deeper levels of knowledge in the fields of their choice. So my sincere thanks to all of the supervisors, principals, who served with me in looking at some of these items, in coming up with these proposals, in finding the teachers and having teachers here right within our schools who not only have the ability, the knowledge, but the willingness to take this on and try something new moving forward next year. We have some more plans in place to expand further the following year. Likewise, you'll also see our talented and gifted program is growing exponentially. We are pushing these kids harder and harder every week in every lesson. And again, again, making them kind of break a sweat and really feel the ability to reach that bar as we keep setting it higher. So we have some students that volunteered their own ideas and time to participate in a science fair that's going to be taking place at Drew University on a Saturday. Again, the tag teacher is willing to go on the bus with those students. She's been coaching them through these activities that they'll be presenting, and they are not part of their standard curriculum. This is going above and beyond. So once again, I thank all of the parents who support these endeavors for students. I thank all of the teachers who are doing everything necessary to meet the needs of all of our students. And we're going to keep our commitment to excellence and our commitment to ultimately making Lyndhurst High School and the Lyndhurst Public Schools recognized and known throughout the state. So we thank you for your patience and cooperation as we continue on our journey to do just that.
Anybody have anything else? Anybody out there have anything to say or whatever? You got something? Okay.
Yeah, just a question. Because they asked, under new business, what exactly is an owner's representative?
To coordinator of all the projects. You have 5 different schools plus a new school being built. And what we're charged with doing is to coordinate all that programming so that we can actually match the school buildings to the curriculum that's been designed. It also would be the person who's going to be sitting in on construction meetings, on meetings with, what we do too in construction, you have something called value engineering. Value engineering is to take the plans and compare them to what's a field site or a field condition. And what you do is you try to save some money on the project by making changes in the field. They have to be accepted by the owner. So it's more or less like a liaison between those people who are doing work and the boards themselves. This is a very complex program that we have proposed right now between the junior high school and the others. We had an owner's representative. If you remember, when we did this building, we did the high school renovations back in 2000. And quite frankly, it worked to our advantage in that we saved probably $300,000 or $400,000 in costs and put those back into the project. Bleachers, for example, were an add-on. They were not part of the original program. The entire portion of the street, the roadway that's back here that flows between Fern Avenue and Forest Avenue was not part of the original programming, but was added later on when we were able to do the value engineering. So that's basically what it is. You have, I don't know if they reported, but there were 6 different people who were, or entities that put in for it, ranging from $498,000 to the one that was accepted. So, we're looking at, and the next lowest was $367,000. So basically what we're doing is doing this job for almost $250,000 less than anyone else was bidding.
Is there any developing of, did you start any of the project up there at all?
What you first would have, don't understand this whole project right now is not into the bid specifications, but still the things we had to do were the specifications to be approved by the Department of Education for the purposes of looking for debt service aid and for the approvals to meet educational adequacy. So those things are completed. From the municipal side, they're now, and I believe it's either this month or next month, they'll be approving an architect to put forward the plans and specifications to go out for the actual bid for the junior high school. And from this side too, we have ours because we have our architect already in place, and we've been working. We've had meetings every single week on Wednesday afternoon. Before this even happened, we were having these meetings to really hone in on what we're looking for in terms of the dollars that were approved by the public, and going out and we did a very comprehensive review of all the schools to see what other items needed to be done and prioritize those other items. So we're approaching this thing from 2 standpoints. One is the obvious that we have to meet our goals for the budget, but the other is to make sure that we put together a program of construction that really meets what the administration wants in a program of education. That's kind of new to what we've done here. What we've done in the past is we've tried to pass whatever we could and then kind of fit that square peg into the round hole and say, all right, we have this done in the district. How do we make our curriculum a little bit better based on what we've been able to improve? We're trying to do this the way that it really makes sense, which is, here's our curriculum. Build us the schools that allow this curriculum to be best executed in town. I'm very excited, obviously, because these programs that are being proposed now are some proposals that were made 30-some-odd years ago when I first served on the board. And I have a copy of my RFQ response, and I'll be happy to give it to you. You'll see exactly what your question is. You'll see how that answers in that, what the job entails, what it is, and why it is that I believe I'm qualified to do that. And then I'll even give you a copy of the other quotes. This way you see that this is being done in the kind of the typical fashion that I try to do things here, which is for minimal cost to it. We did the project management back in 2000. I did that for $60,000, and the next lowest bid was $298,000. The project was finished on time, actually before time, within budget. We never missed a day of classes, even though the building was completely disrupted by cutting off an entire way to get to our gymnasium. So, I hope we have all the same, I won't say luck, but I hope we have the same experience this time. One further thing is we are going to get started up at Matera Field doing the environmentals. There's a lot of things that need to happen before you can put the shovel in the ground for construction. And that's going to take place between now and the end of the summer. So, and we've been talking about, we're going to start posting on our websites, both the municipal website and the school website, some timelines to really give you at least an idea where you can follow and say, all right, so they'll be back with their bids in such and such a time. The next time frame would be doing your environmentals, your analyticals on the soil, your analyticals up on the Matera Field for the shale, all those kind of things. When are we actually going to put the shovel in the ground? You'll be able to follow them. Okay?
This is also, you're still going to be the attorney, so this is your job.
It's actually, if you take a look at what I do at this town too, it's like 2.5 at least. But historically, I go to work at 6 a.m. and I leave at 7, and I work 7 days a week. And I think everybody that knows me here knows that that's kind of a little bit of work. Oh, it's definitely an added. It's a happy added though, because they say it's something that's been a goal for 30-some-odd years, and I'm just. I don't want to let this get out of our own hands. I don't want to let this get out of our own hands. We've all worked too hard, too many times to try to pass something. We not only have the referendum passed, we have somewhere near $75 million worth of school improvements coming in here. And quite frankly, I don't want any outsiders coming in here and controlling the destiny of it. We need to have our administration controlling the destiny of it, and having someone that's fairly tough mouthpiece to put that forward.
Anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor?